Hi everybody. Getting after it, getting an hour on the elliptical. I got 32 minutes so far. My heart rate's at, let's see, I can do it on the watch, 129. I don't know if you can see that. That's not important, 129. And I'm listening to a podcast conversation between Russell Brand and Ben Shapiro. And I'm a pretty liberal thinker, but I'm also very much mystically minded. I think there's a lot of value in mysticism in the sense that it is the undergirding experience of all religious tradition. And I felt inspired to record this short video. So we're at about a minute now. I bet you I can get it out in 5 minutes, this idea. And that is, there's one profound idea that I think is superordinate, is above and beyond any other idea I've ever heard. And I've heard it presented in that way too, and I think it holds water. And that is emergence, or emergent properties, or the science of emergent principles. Now, follow me on this. We talk in religion about a higher power, or they talk about the same thing in a 12-step program, and AA and NA and so forth. And any religious, I want to make sure I'm not talking, there's nobody else in the gym right now. They talk about this idea of a higher power, and I just realized I can put it into a framework given the description of emergent properties. Now, on my channel, I've described emergent properties, emergent principles, the science of emergence before. So here goes. You can build a model of the earth through an understanding of emergence. And all that emergence is in the abstract, in the Aristotelian conceptual space, right, is that when you have enough agents, call them agents, right, or entities, or beings, or, you know, the word that you use is not important, but if you have enough of them acting together by simple rules, eventually you will have emerging a higher order agent, or being, or thing. It's very simple. Birds form flocks, fish form schools, but it's much more profound than that. You can start with chemistry, and you can build up to biology, and you can go from a single-celled organism to a multicellular organism, to a tissue, like a colony, to an organ, right, like a single organ, like the placenta, to an organ system, like the circulatory system, to an organ, like, you know, and you could have examples of that are individuals, like a jellyfish, right, to an organism, to an organization, to a, you know, economy, to a civilization, you know, etc., etc. So, point being, there is a higher intelligence at every level of abstraction. It's turtles all the way down. If you've ever heard that great parable where somebody talks to the old wise woman and says, "Tell me about theology." And she says, "Well, the earth is being carried on the back of a giant turtle." And the rationalist intellectual goes, "Lady, you don't know what you're talking about. If a turtle is carrying the world, what's carrying the turtle?" She goes, "Well, my son, another turtle." And this intellectual can't get it through their head. Thinks the lady's just a crazy old witch. "Ma'am, that doesn't make any sense. What's carrying the other turtle?" And she goes, "Silly boy, it's turtles all the way down." So my point is, and I want to connect this to another quick part of witticism and banter that Russell Brand and Ben Shapiro had in their conversation, and that was being a rationalist but also having a healthy religious tradition, whether it's secular mysticism like Russell Brand espouses through the AA program, 12 steps, or Judaistic orthodoxy. You know, and obviously the same goes for Islam and Catholicism, all the Abrahamic religions, but also anything else, Zoroastrianism, I don't care. Some connection to this idea of the higher, oh, there goes my attempt to do it in 5 minutes. the higher power, Ben said in response to the question from Russell that, what does your religious practice give you in terms of, your professional life and your family life? And Ben Shapiro said, and I'm usually more critical than fanboy, towards Ben Shapiro, but he said, really interestingly, if I'm on Twitter, it's like, it's not a good day. Like, it's a good day if I'm not on Twitter. And he said, culturally, reductionist, materialistic, culture, Russell Brand's words, more so than Ben's, but Twitter specifically can make you feel like you're the center of the earth, or center of the world, center of the universe, which is extraordinarily unhealthy. Any reasonable person will tell you that. But then also culture can paradoxically make you feel like an outcast, like you're somehow ancillary or not connected to all that is, that you're an outcast to the goings on of the world, which is equally ridiculous and troubling. So what Ben said is, because he practices or observes the Sabbath as a Orthodox Jew, turns off all his electronics, he's given a peace of mind, a connection to the eternal, the idea that smarter people have come before and smarter people will exist after this period in time, and that a recognition of that ongoing perpetuity in ad infinitum is a really healthy place to rest the mind. Right? I love talking about David Goggins because he talks about the mind. The mind is the only, just as a tangent, the mind is the only thing that shows up on time, every time. The mind has the tactical advantage over you at all times. It knows your weaknesses. So you got to know the mind if you want to be able to achieve greatness, if you want to achieve your goals. Because greatness is on the other side of suffering. Those are all kind of David Goggins isms. And I would contend that the discussion between Brand and Shapiro is interesting because it shows that a rational, educated mind, couched, based, grounded in a mystic appreciation, is a recipe for an integrated human. Carl Jung, the great psychologist who I've come to learn a lot about through the study of Jordan Peterson, talks about the same thing, integrating all the parts of the self. Right? If we're the pyramid, our rational, observant awareness, our consciousness is that eye at the top of the pyramid, but inside is a house of 1,000 spirits, right? All of the things that animate us, our emotions, right? Our intellect, our passions, etc. The chorus of an ancient Greek drama, right? They're always, battling each other for control of the individual. So anyway, I wanted to share that. I think all of those things are relevant towards being an integrated and healthy human. I like to talk about mental health, and so this is a fair point in the discussion of mental health. But that science of emergence explains that the idea that, a feather, to be the best feather, need be somehow aware of its part of the bird. And a bird, to fly straight, need understand its subservience to the flock, etc. So as a person, I think it's healthy to realize that we are part of something greater. And you don't need, I would argue, one doesn't need to, take anything from that. It's merely a releasing of the self-importance and self-centered nature of the ego in respect to all that is, that puts the person in kind of the flow of, what's going on. So thank you for listening. I thought I could do it in 5 minutes, but there's 10 minutes. A little discussion about emergence, emergent properties, emergent principles with respect to both a mystic appreciation, a rational mind, and a mentally healthy, integrated person. So love you guys. Thanks for watching. I got some more ellipticaling to do. Let's see how my heart is. 133. All right. Get some. Love you guys.